So why build an aeroplane from scratch without drawings or plans using material collected and old parts collected from over the years? Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I can't afford to buy a plane. I'd love to, but anyway. And I couldn't afford to buy kit. So I could afford to buy plans, and then the ones I bought, when I got them, I didn't particularly like the way it was constructed. So started to thought, well, stuff it. I'll just make it the way I want. Um, I had plenty of time, and over the years I'd learned a thing or two on how to build aeroplanes and fix them and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, well, I'll just use the stuff that I've got and start from there. So I suppose that was one of the parameters. So spend as little money on it that I could, and the goal was to use all of the materials that I'd collected over the years and construct something with what I have. So that's how it started. Also, the way it was constructed had to be simple. I didn't want to set up jigs and all of that stuff. I just wanted to build something. So yeah, just build it off the bench and using the tools that I've got. Yeah, that's where it started from. And since then, I sort of enjoyed thinking outside of the box on how to use what I've got and what I've found over time, and how to repurpose it for something that I could use. So I suppose that's what we're sort of doing now. It's good fun. I learned a lot. So what's involved in designing and building an aircraft from scratch, like the Frankenstein? Mostly it's TLAR. That looks about right. Seems to be working so far. So now that we've got an idea on how to build and the theme of building the Frankenstein, why end up with an open cockpit aeroplane? So it's a bit different. Originally I wasn't going to build an open cockpit aeroplane, but I got a small mate of mine, petite. You might have seen him on a video before. He calls himself, he's 5'21". So not much change out of 7 foot. And I often wondered, if you ever take him flying, how the heck do you fit that size of guy in an aeroplane? I mean, it's not fun, not easy. So I've been thinking about that for a while, and I came to the conclusion that the simple answer is you only build half a cockpit. You only build the bottom half, and he can stick his head out as far as he likes then. And then it sort of looks legit. So that was the original idea, and then the more I thought about it, the more I liked the idea of an open cockpit, and I started looking around, and I always liked the air camper and the baking juice and all that style of aeroplane. So that's probably the start of it. And then we sort of, just went from there. And some of the goals of the aeroplane as we went along, I've built it wide enough, I reckon, to strap a kayak or a canoe underneath it. So that's why I also want the undercarriage mounts off the side of the fuselage, not underneath, because I want that clear. Then I can make a pod or a drop tank also, so we can go camping, go fishing, all that. So the idea is me and my wife can jump in this thing and off we go to the beach for the weekend, or the river, wherever. So that's sort of what it's morphed into now. I suppose that's part of the reason why it's Frankenstein, is I'm making it up as I go. It's sort of morphing as it goes. It's materials and construction ideas are from other ideas of aeroplanes and designs and all that sort of stuff. So it seems to fit. I never would have called an aeroplane Frankenstein, but it fits quite nicely. So what else? Yeah, it's all fun. We're not far off it now. So I'm loving the just thinking on how to make something. You get a basic idea of what you want and what you need, and then you got to start sort of reverse engineering it back to something that you can construct with the stuff that you've got in the situation and time that you have. So this might rattle your brain a tad. When I'm building this thing, I'm using mostly 1/8 rivets, purely because I have more Clecos, 1/8 Clecos, than I do 332, and that's them, all of them. And whatever's hanging onto that part there, that's the aileron I'm building right now. So my entire aircraft that I've built so far, all of that, and the wings and everything, these Clecos. Now some of them, these shorter ones here, the spring's gone on them, so they don't pull up as well as the other Clecos. So these are only good for going through thicker material. So when I Cleco them into the bench or something like that. But for the thinner stuff, like only 2 thicknesses of skin, I have to use these other Clecos. So very minimal Clecos. When I'm building something, I have to take extra care and time to make it straight with the Clecos that I've got. I can't just put hundreds of Clecos in to hold it all together. It's easy enough anyway, because I'm creating the holes as I go along, and the brackets and the ribs and everything. So yeah, that's all I've got. Very basic tooling through the whole lot. I use a ruler, a meter ruler. I got my drill, a couple of basic tools. I cut everything by hand and bash it. You've seen my edge, my skin edger. I use instead of filing the edges smooth, I use it like a scraper. I smooth this out. It works really well. What else have we got here? Some basic tools here. So, geez, I've had that deburrer forever. What else? So yeah, I've got these lumps of steel here that I use. So, you can put the snap in here, and use that as a reverse riveter. Same with this one here. Underneath, I can put the snap in there as well. I've used that on I think it was the tail plane, all those funky rivet tails that I did. An old 4X rivet gun and a couple of blocks of steel I use for dollies. Favorite lot of drills. I made this little thing ages ago. It's just a aluminium block that I can screw the countersinking pieces into, so I can countersink by hand or deburr or whatever I want. These little bits here I've just made, they're simple little joggling tools for flanges and stuff like that. And same with this is a little template that I made for the latches. And these holes here represent all of the different types of anchor nuts I've used. So there's different little, I just use that as a template, help line things up. Very basic tooling through the whole thing. So yeah, and even here's my files and hacksaw. And a little pile of 332 Clecos. So, but there's not many of them, so not enough to build an aeroplane. So I've decided to use 8. Yeah, everything I've done, all the skins and everything are hand filed and hand cut, and all steam driven. It takes a lot of time, but I've got time. And I didn't want to spend money on extra stuff. I've got an English wheel underneath there, and there's a guillotine there that I can use. I can cut thicker materials with. At work, I've been able to use the folder from time to time. Sometimes I just use a certain part of my bench edge which has the correct bend radius that I'm after. What else? A long time ago when I was building some of the ribs, so like the ribs here, that's O condition, which was heat treated, and same with certain other brackets. So like these ones here, when I hand formed these ones, they're actually O condition. I heat treated them to T4 condition. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Since then, it's all hand built. All of these pieces I've made wooden dies and then formed them over that. Yeah, so very basic tooling. That's all that I've got. That's all you need. All the extra stuff is very cool, and it'll make life a lot easier, but you can do it without it.